At the beginning of the story, we are shown a small kingdom called Iceni, where people live together in harmony. This is during a time when the Roman Empire had almost conquered America after waging war. This kingdom was also under America, but the Roman Empire had not yet taken control here. Nearby Iceni, there is a scene of war in another kingdom. Roman soldiers are killing innocent people, and in this dire situation, all the people pray to God for the goddess to come quickly and save them. They tell the Roman soldiers, "The day will come soon when a queen will come and save us from your tyranny." This statement was quite strange. The Roman soldiers' general immediately goes out and tells their king about this, who gets angry after hearing the whole story. As a result, he orders the immediate execution of all powerful women in this empire, especially those who could stand against them. Perhaps, more than anger, he was afraid of losing his power. Meanwhile, the general of Iceni also brings bad news for their kingdom. The Roman Empire is sending a new general here, who surely will not bring any good for them. They must now prepare for any difficult situation. At this time, the king's wife, Boudica, was traveling with her daughters. On their way, they see bodies hanging from trees. Boudica's daughters get scared, so Boudica tells them, "Do not be afraid. These must be people who did something bad." But Boudica's maid interrupts, "No. Their only fault was that they were Christians. The Romans do not like Christians, so they had them killed." As they move forward, they reach a place where people from another tribe, upon seeing Boudica, hide in fear and call her goddess Boudica. Boudica is shocked and does not understand what is happening. A Roman soldier standing nearby sees this, and considering Boudica a powerful woman, moves forward to kill her on the king's orders. As he tries to assault her, the girl who first bowed to Boudica quickly draws her sword and cuts off the soldier's hand. In the next second, she beheads the fallen man, killing the Roman soldier, which was a grave crime. They knew that now the Roman army would come here to avenge this. So they all flee, but now the Roman soldiers are after Queen Boudica. To save Boudica's life, the king decides to negotiate with the Roman soldiers. The soldiers agree to spare Boudica's life, but on one condition: she must be punished. The punishment was that Boudica could not leave the palace for a whole year. After everyone leaves, Boudica talks to her husband, the king, and tells him everything that happened in the market. She asks, "I don't understand why they called me a goddess." The king replies, "Maybe because you are from the bloodline of the bravest soldiers of the world, the Berbers." The next day, Boudica was playing with her daughters with wooden toy swords. Seeing this, the king was happy. He thought that perhaps Boudica did not know how to wield a sword. After her daughters left, as soon as the king began to teach Boudica how to handle a sword, she cleverly attacked him with her toy sword. The king was wrong. He now brings Boudica to his room and takes out a sword in front of her. This was not just any ordinary sword. It was the sword of the Berbers, given to her by her father. The special thing about this sword was that it was the sword of goddess Boudica, made with the help of many spells. The next day, Roman generals arrive in Iceni, about whom the king had already been informed by his general. Despite being enemies, the people here treated the Roman general with great respect, as if he were a very special guest. But the general considered them less than insects. For now he leaves, but the king knew that his intentions were not good. So he decides to attack the Roman soldiers' platoon that came here before they attack his kingdom, in order to save his kingdom. They prepare their army overnight and go to war. The war was very intense. The Roman soldiers were strong, and the Iceni people didn't have many weapons. But they did not lose courage and managed to win the war. However, they paid a very high price for this victory. Returning to the kingdom, the general gives Boudica the bad news that the king is no longer in this world. This news shattered Boudica badly. There was now no one left to manage the kingdom, so Boudica strengthens herself and takes over all the responsibilities of her kingdom. As soon as the Romans learn about her ruling the kingdom, the general arrives the next day. They are informed that no woman can rule any kingdom under Roman authority. By doing so, Boudica had committed a great crime, and as punishment, the Romans would now take over her entire realm. Not only that, Boudica was given an even harsher punishment. In front of all the people of her kingdom, Roman soldiers stripped her of her royal clothes, tied her to a tree, and started whipping her. No one standing there could do anything for their queen, Boudica. Boudica was severely injured and lost consciousness. It was night, and we see that someone suddenly attacks the Romans sitting inside Iceni. These were the same people who considered Boudica a goddess. They fought with all the Roman soldiers and saved Boudica, taking her to their kingdom and treating her. Upon regaining consciousness, Boudica first asks about her daughters and is given the bad news that her daughters had died due to the trauma of the whipping. In this immense grief, Boudica loses consciousness again. Many days pass like this, and then one day, after recovering, she comes out of the tent and sees children learning to fight with toy swords. Among these children were two girls who reminded her of her daughters. These girls tell Boudica that the people of their kingdom consider her a goddess. They believe that she will save them from the Romans. Boudica, whose loved ones were killed by the Romans and whose realm was taken by them, prepares herself to take revenge on the Romans and starts practicing on her own. Sometimes she even thought that she could fight the Romans. Seeing her training, the people give her the same sword that the king had given her some time ago. Boudica was looking at the sword when a general from another kingdom arrives. His name was Wolfcard. The Romans had attacked Wolfcard's kingdom as well. He also wanted to fight the Romans, so they decide to join forces. All the kingdoms were coming together to form a large army to easily defeat the Romans. When this man sees Boudica as their leader, he starts to insult her and tells the others, "I will not fight behind a woman, especially one who doesn't know how to fight herself." He takes Boudica's sword from her and mocks her by throwing it into the river. Seeing her sword fall into the river, Boudica immediately jumps into the water, even though she doesn't know how to swim. She doesn't come up for quite some time, and the people begin to think she has drowned. But suddenly, Boudica resurfaces with her sword, and seeing her bravery and determination, even Wolfcart, who was mocking her earlier, is impressed and agrees to work with her. Now, everyone bows down to her in respect. Night falls, and we see that everyone is participating in a ritual with Boudica. In this ritual, they have accepted her as their goddess, and Boudica swears in front of all the people that she will take back her land and her kingdom from the Romans. Boudica gets the news that in the next 2 days, a large Roman platoon will pass through her kingdom. She decides to attack the soldiers, but Wolfcart refuses to support her, fearing that they are outnumbered and likely to lose. He tells Boudica, "I cannot risk my soldiers' lives." Hearing this, Boudica decides to attack them alone with a few loyal people. As Boudica moves forward to fight the soldiers, she sees Wolfcart coming to help with all his soldiers, which makes her very happy. Finally, the Roman army is in front of them. They attack the Roman forces. Among these forces was Boudica's old general, who tries to talk to her, but Boudica, not recognizing him, kills him, mistaking him for a Roman soldier. In her rage, she repeatedly stabs the man, unleashing her anger. Meanwhile, Wolfcart's soldiers fight the Roman soldiers, and they succeed to a great extent in defeating them. They display the heads of the Roman soldiers on stakes as a symbol of their victory and loot all their belongings. After this battle, peace prevails in the kingdom for a long time. We see that some monks come to meet Boudica. They tell her that to fully become a goddess, she must perform some rituals, including drinking human blood and other strange acts. The leader of these monks tells Boudica that her end is near, and she must accomplish a lot before her death. It's revealed that Boudica still has visions of her daughters. The words of this woman bring Boudica out of her visions and make her realize that her family is gone. After this realization, Boudica becomes very ill. However, she cannot afford to give up now. Her life has a purpose: to defeat the Romans. She prepares a large army and attacks a city called Camulodunum, where the Romans had killed innocent people, and only Roman soldiers resided. In this attack, many Roman soldiers are killed, and Boudica sets the city on fire. In celebration of this victory, the next morning, Boudica's soldiers mark their faces with the same symbol that Boudica has, though they do not know that it is a mark of slavery branded by the Romans. When Boudica asks them if they know the meaning of the mark, they reply, We may not be well read, but we know that by marking ourselves with this symbol, we are adopting your identity. Hearing this, Boudica feels very powerful and decides to attack London next, where the most Roman soldiers were stationed. They build a large army and attack London. Here too, Boudica's soldiers show great courage and kill many Roman soldiers, winning the battle. After these attacks, Roman power in the region diminishes significantly, and even the people of Rome begin to fear for their lives. They start protesting against their own emperor, causing chaos and destruction. In this turmoil, Roman generals come to the emperor, asking what to do next and whether to declare war. The emperor responds, "How should I know? I'm not a warrior. I am a musician. All I know is how to sing and play music. I can't handle all this." Saying this, he cuts his wrists, ending his life. The news of the emperor's death reaches Britannia. Wolfcart, Boudica's general, knows that the authorities won't stay silent. They will come for revenge. He advises Boudica that they should disappear for a while and then come back with an even larger army to attack again. But Boudica is unwilling to stop. She wants to end the Romans, no matter the cost. Wolfcart said, "I can't keep risking my soldiers' lives over and over again. If you want to fight this war, you'll have to go alone." Boudica's decision was firm. She went to war with only the people of one tribe. But this time, the Romans were also well prepared for battle. It wasn't easy to fight them this time. Boudica's army was being killed. The Romans had set a trap and killed many of Boudica's soldiers early on. Her forces and strength diminished, and the Romans began to overpower her. At this moment, a Roman soldier attacked her, and she fell to the ground. She was in great pain, but she didn't want to die helplessly. Gathering her courage, she stood up again, determined to fight until her last breath. Just then, she heard Wolfcart's voice from behind. He had come to help Boudica with his companions. The battle started again, and now Boudica's people were heading towards victory. While fighting, Boudica had visions of her daughters who were telling her that no matter what she did, in the end, she would die. These visions distracted her from the battle, and she was struck by an arrow. Seeing Boudica fall, the Roman soldiers saw a golden opportunity. They all gathered around her and repeatedly stabbed her with their swords, killing her. Boudica was dead, and before dying, she only had memories of the good times spent with her family. It is not told whether Boudica won the battle or not, but in the post-credit scene, we are informed that Boudica's story was real. Even today, statues of Boudica and her daughters stand in London, and with this, the movie ends.